What's going on, guys? You're watching Ninja Lifestyle. I don't have a knife to throw today, but I do have a new phone because Asian John broke mine. I've been traveling for the past week and a half with Major Crew, and for the last day of our trip, I got a chance to watch The Motivation 2, the Chris Cole documentary. It was me and Major Eddie from Major Crew, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts, a little review on the film. First, overall, it was a great documentary, and I think anyone would enjoy it, even if they're not a Chris Cole fan. I feel like you would probably even enjoy it if you're not a skate fan, because it's about a lot more than just Chris Cole. It's called The Chris Cole Story, but it talks about a lot more, and even if you're not into skating that much, I feel like you would finish the movie still feeling kind of inspired. And that's probably why it's called The Motivation. It makes a lot of sense. I didn't watch The Motivation 1. I don't know what it's about. I just got this this really cool opportunity to be one of the first to watch The Motivation 2. And it just came out this week. You guys can find it on iTunes, and if you want to find out more, check out the website. But I want to give you guys my thoughts. So first, it gives, of course, the story of Chris Cole, how he came up in skating, his childhood, and it gets kind of deep. It talks about his early childhood, it talks about his mom, how he met his wife, issues that he had at home, and then it starts to talk about like the history of Philly, because he was a big Philly skater back in the day. You guys saw he did backside flip down that big 4 block at Love Park. He did what else? Switch frontside flip. It talks about a lot of that. And if you're kind of new to skating, if you've been skating less than 5 years, I feel like there's one part of this video that you'd really enjoy, and it kind of breaks down how cliquey the skate industry can be. And it talks about some of the old like beefs that happen, and it talks about, you know, being blacklisted from the industry. Not that Chris Cole was, but it gives you a real insider view on these things can happen. And everybody has an opinion on, oh, skateboarding is ruined by this or ruined by that. And I feel like it'd give you a fun little insight, even if you're not a big Chris Cole guy. It talks about street league. It talks about competing. It talks about some of the things that stress Chris Cole out. It talks about some of the things in the skate industry that he's not really a fan of. And those are just the things that I can remember that were in the movie. There's a lot going on in there. And there's interviews with a lot of pro skaters. For example, the ones I can think of off the top of my head, I'm sure there's more, was Sean Malto, Chaz Ortiz, Shane O'Neill, Jamie Thomas, Tony Hawk, Rodney Mullen was in it. I guess Rodney Mullen was one of the first big pros that Chris Cole ever knew. And little spoiler alert, I guess Chris Cole got Rodney Mullen's number and just bothered him every single day, just called him every day and just annoyed him. So there's definitely a lot of stuff in there that you guys haven't seen before. And there's a lot of skate footage. I feel like it had a perfect balance between interviews and skate footage, because I like to watch documentaries. I like the little Vice skate documentaries, but sometimes they either overdo it with too much talking or not talking about the right shit, or sometimes it's just like too much skating, and I just feel like watching a skate video. It wasn't a documentary. This one's right there in the middle, and it gets really deep too. It gets really deep, and there's certain parts of it where I watched it and I was like, oh wow, like I can really relate to that. Not that I'm a pro skateboarder, you know, not that I'm a 2-time skater of the year, but there's a lot of little parts of this video where you'll watch it and you'll just be like, okay, I can see a little bit of myself in that. And as the film finishes, it talks about some of the things Chris Cole has done to give back to skateboarding. He has this foundation where he sends kids to Woodward who otherwise probably couldn't afford it. And it just gives you a whole new outlook on Chris Cole that you probably before never had. So the video's already out. You guys can find it now on iTunes, or just search Motivation 2 Chris Cole on Google. I for sure recommend it. It's a fun watch, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it in the comments. Maybe you guys have a different opinion. Maybe you guys didn't like it. Maybe you hated it. Maybe you hate Chris Cole. Maybe you think he's cheating in Street League because he's always doing these weird circus tricks. I want to know your opinion. So if you haven't seen it, please go check it out. And Let me know your thoughts. Again, you can search for it. I don't have all the details, but there's no excuses. You have to watch this. You have to. Otherwise, I guess I can't threaten you. If you don't watch it, you'll just have to go on with the rest of your life knowing you didn't watch it. And can you live with that? Because I can. I can live with that. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this. And again, if you do watch it, let me know your thoughts because I loved it. And I'm a critic. There's a lot of things I don't like. A lot of things I don't like. People. Kuna Matata.